I expect the video may catch up at some point. So that's one of those funny technological things.
We're not worried about that too much.
Yeah. We used in probably would have been Beverly O'Neill's class maybe, did video, and there was a Portapack camera that got, I think they had a single Sony Portapack, which was a, I think, half-inch reel-to-reel
That's my memory exactly.
Black and white.
In fact, I think I own one of those videos somewhere in my pile of stuff.
Yeah, and it got passed around from student to student, I guess, and class to class. It's funny because now the technology is such that, with a, everybody's got a phone just about that can shoot better quality video than that. And another thing I remember about the early videos, Charles Hill and Jerry Bird and so forth, is just the contrast between what they were doing and how interesting that was versus what was on, say, television or the movies. And it was not edited. Now, of course, editing software, anybody can do fairly sophisticated editing, with desktop tools and so forth. But back then it was just editing was sort of turning it on and turning it off. And and it was sort of divorced in a large way. It was close, being in the greater Los Angeles area, it was close to Hollywood, where, editing and so forth and cinematography and all were big, but this was a completely different aesthetic. And so at any rate, that's just another little anecdote, I guess.
No, I know. We were on the edge of a lot of that stuff, which I think was another advantage in having a department that had, there were painting studios that were just big white rooms, and they were everything studios. There was a printmaking studio that had equipment, and there was a pretty well-equipped ceramics studio. There was a shop, which was called the Sculpture Studio, but it was essentially just a pretty well-equipped shop with woodworking machine tools, power tools. But otherwise, it was a place where you do, like as you mentioned, and I was working in the dorms at the same time. I didn't have a separate studio, but most of the students would go home and paint on the living room floor or build whatever they were doing or burn styrofoam out in the hallway, and then bring it back and talk about it. So that again, since there wasn't this locked up kind of today we're going to put our canvases on these easels and we're going to sit here with our paints and our palettes and do the painting, it allowed for that expansive creativity, the effort to try new things, the exploration, which I think was so exciting and so very much a part of that whole experience.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Do you have anything else in particular?
Oh, I'm sure I'll think of hundreds of things in the next couple of weeks, Walter, but this was a good chat. I do have a technical question for you before we sign off here. That what is the final file type that you're generating? Is it an MOV or what do you got?
It's an AVI. I'm using a Windows system, and it's an AVI. I'll have to find out how large it is. It's 13 gigabytes per minute, I believe, and so this is going to be a pretty big file. And
no, I think that's not per minute. If I recall, it's more like per hour. It can't be.
Well, this is raw. I can't remember, to tell you the truth. It's going to be pretty big.
It doesn't matter. What I'm getting at is that I've done some of this editing. If you want me to tidy this up a little bit, are you done video editing?
I have done a little bit. Why don't I get it posted? It's probably going to be. It's certainly going to be longer than 15 minutes. They asked for 15 minutes.
We've been online together for 46 right now.
That's even. I was going to say we can probably be allowed, since it's both of us 15 minutes each, but we're still probably a bit over, and there's going to be some stuff.
But this includes all that stuff about getting set up, and you showed me around, and we talked about the rain and stuff. So we can clip probably clip 10 or 15 minutes right off the front.
Exactly.
And we can clip all this junk off the back end.
Right, and I wasn't taping right at the very beginning either. So why don't I'll tell you what, why don't I'll go ahead and actually stop now so that and we can keep talking for just a minute.